It is no secret to anyone watching this video that RuneScape has some problems, especially when it comes to PvM. I mean, even my most recent video was about one of the problems. But what if I tell you that I actually have a solution for some of these problems? Let's talk about it. Yo, what's going on, guys? My name's Chevelle here, and today we're going to be discussing some of RuneScape's biggest problems and my solution to solving them. It's just my opinion, but just with any of my videos, please give me your opinions in the comment section down below. I really do appreciate all the interaction I've been having over my last few videos. Thank you guys so much for it. The discussions have been great in the comment section down below. They have been civil, and that's exactly what I am looking for. So definitely do so with this video as well. Really do appreciate it. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you're new. And let's just get into it, because I can ramble on for a very long time, as you guys know. Anyway, the biggest problems in RuneScape. I firmly believe that, especially as a YouTuber or a content creator, someone who speaks out on these things publicly, and in my case, for some reason gets 2,000 views on some of these subjects, needs to give solutions as well. And these issues are going on and have been going on for quite a long time in the community now. Obviously, you can probably guess some of them. I mean, the first one that I want to discuss is actually relating to my last video. Before you click off, no, this is not the same thing as the last video. I'll actually give you a solution for SwitchScape, because I gave it in the comment section down below, and then I realized I should really make a video about it, or I should have really properly explained it in the video, because SwitchScape, yes, if you haven't seen the video on SwitchScape, go check it out. It's probably in the sidebar or whatever, or on my channel, but I'm not going to go all into detail again or explain SwitchScape, blah, blah, blah. No. Ring slots. That is an issue in RuneScape. Because if you really think about it, I said 3 rings in the last video. There's actually 4 rings that you should realistically bring if you want to efficiently boss. And that makes no sense. Because a lot of people in the comment section down below also said, dude, you have 10 fingers. Why can't we have, like, multiple rings? And I understand that Jagex doesn't want us to wear 10 rings. Can you imagine? 10 ring effects stacked. Like, people can probably find some disgusting, absolutely disgusting combinations when you have too many ring slots. But I generally think I have a good middle ground when it comes to ring slots and not having to switch them many. Because if you really think about it, right? Ring of Death, especially when you get like tier 90 gear, is kind of needed for your death cost, which we'll get into in a moment, by the way, because you probably guessed by the thumbnail or just in general problems, death cost has been one for a very long time. And I actually have a few solutions on that, but we'll get into that in a moment. The Luck of the Dwarfs, which is a relic, which we also get into in a moment. Then we have the Ring of Vigor, which is really needed for the thresholds, or the ultimates. I always forget which one it is with that one, but doesn't matter. It's an important ring, don't get me wrong. And obviously you have the Luck of the Dwarfs, which you also want to... Wait, did I already say the Luck of the Dwarfs? No, the Reaver's Ring. The actual DPS ring. Sorry, my bad. I never try to read off a script, because I feel like you then read out the commentary instead of like talk about it. I just have notes on the side, and I wrote it down twice. But anyway, I generally think that we should have an active ring slot and a passive ring slot. So how that would work is, like, for example, the active ring slot is first of all reserved for any combat ring. So for example, the Reaver's Ring, but also is reserved for any stat ring. So for example, like how it could work is you could have your Reaver's Ring in your main slot, and in your secondary passive slot, where you only get the passive effect of the ring and no stats, so you can't just stack the Reaver's Ring stats plus the Ring of Death stats, because then you would have an incredible magic bonus just of 2 rings, which I don't think is a good thing. So the passive one would only have the effect. So how it could work is you could wear the Reaver's Ring on your main slot, and on your secondary slot you can wear the Ring of Death, not get the stats, but get the Ring of Death effect. You could also do that with the Ring of Vigor, and you could also do that with the Luck of the Dwarfs, or any of those rings. Maybe make it an unlock from a quest, make it an unlock from an activity, or a mini game, or a boss, or just whatever. Like, make it an unlock if people think it is too powerful, but I genuinely do think that could solve a lot of issues, especially ring switches, because we have multiple fingers, and I think it is a good thing to have like one active and one passive, because that would open up a lot of possibilities. Just make it so you can't have 2 combat rings stack with each other. Obviously, you could say the Ring of Vigor is a combat ring, but I feel like it's a bit of a niche use. And even with the Ring of Vigor, I just literally think, like, give us a Dungeoneering token unlock for like 100k tokens or 200k tokens that it's passive from the bank. But that's something completely else. But this would really help us with even death cost. Like, this could solve the death cost issue, because people are saying, well, you need to wear Ring of Death because otherwise your death cost is too high. So that makes death cost an issue. But if you have like a passive slot, you could pretty much kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Really, like literally 2 birds with 1 stone. But yeah, that's regarding the ring slot. And let's get into the most controversial one out of all of them: death cost. I think there are a few solutions to this, and Jagex just needs to decide. As I said, I think the ring slot one could literally be the solution to tackle both issues. Have a passive and an active slot, so you can have your Ring of Death in your passive slot and a Reaver's Ring, for example, in your active slot. But another solution, I think, to death cost is costless deaths for an X amount of kills. I know this has been discussed to absolute oblivion in the community, and I will probably keep this a little bit more short than the previous one, but I generally think death cost could be fixed, and I know they're looking into it. I know it's been a topic. As I said, it's been discussed so many times, you're probably sick and tired of it, but I think 2 solutions can be made. One, deathless cost for the first X amount of kills. Set a threshold of kills, 10, 20, 25, 30, whatever. So the first few kills of any boss or any whatever, you just won't get any death cost if you were to die. So for example, you go to Rakshan, for the first 10 kills, you will not get any death cost when you die. Because you don't get loot if you die, and you don't, this teaches people to learn. But then again, you could say, well, we have practice mode, and that could be another solution, in my opinion. Have a 50% practice mode. So for example, a lot of people have an issue with practice mode, because when they do finally get the kill, and when they do finally, you're still sinking in your supplies to do practice mode. Like, you don't get your supplies back, and that's one of the biggest issues. Like, I'm sinking money in it, but I'm not getting anything back from it. So what's the point of practice mode? It's better to just die in the main mode, because then death cost, like, it's a bit of a weird balance. Like, I'd rather die and pay death cost and then get the kill in and get money than do practice mode, not have death cost, still use supplies, and then eventually get a kill and not get money. Like, it's a bit of a weird balance. I just think that you could solve it if you get like 50% loot and no rares. So for example, if you do practice mode at Raksha, for example, you won't get a greater ricochet or one of the boots or any of the other codexes, but you can get 50% the normal loot to kind of compensate you for the supplies you have used. And I think in any situation of PvM, 50% of the loot of any big boss where you would need a practice mode would cover your supply cost and wouldn't really net you profit. So you couldn't just spam practice mode to just make a profit on a boss. Or, they could even make it so that like percentages change depending on the boss. So they could be like, okay, the average Raksha drop is like 1 mil. An average kill will take about 400k in supplies, so you only get 40% of the loot at Raksha, for example. I generally think that could just fix practice mode and death cost in turn, so you don't have to change anything about it. Because I do think there should be a cost of dying in the game, and I do think there should be a sink of money, because it's a good money sink in RuneScape, because it sinks a lot of money. But I generally think there should be a penalty for dying, because, I really do not want to die in RuneScape 3, because, I will lose everything. And when you look at old school for a long time, I was like, I don't care if I die, I have an hour to run back to get my stuff, and yeah, whatever, I'll just lose some time. So I generally think like having some sort of death cost isn't bad, but just I think it mainly hinders. I think it generally mainly hinders players from learning new content, and I think that I don't think anything should ever stop you from learning any content, especially not death cost. So I generally think that those 2 things can be a fix. You could even go for a Ring of Death stand at death, but I don't know, I way prefer the active and passive slots, because then there's still some RPG, MMO, whatever you want to call it, aspect involved to it as well. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. But lastly is relating to one of my favorite skills, and that's archaeology. The relic system absolutely sucks, because if you're someone like me who does a lot of content, I do clues, I do PvM, and I do skilling, I need to switch out my relics quite a lot of times to, you know, get extra rep at God Wars Dungeon 2, but I also want to have my PVM relics when I actually do go PVMing, or I do want to have my sticky fingers when I go collect my easy clues. And I'm constantly juggling, I'm constantly spending chronodes. And I'm just running out of chronodes at this point. And it's annoying. And you could say like, oh, well, there needs to be a cost because those relics are actually really good. But then, again, shouldn't there... I think, generally, there should be either a reward from the archaeology shop, even if it's 120 arc. Easy to say. When you have 120 arc, I know. But, like, give us something. Like... Maybe when you get the Grandmaster or whatever the highest rank is, Guildmaster I think it is, in the Archaeology Guild, give us a way where we can either unlock it with like a big sack of chronos, like 200k chronodes, or give us a quest, or give us a mystery, whatever. Like, give us something to unlock the ability to not have to pay chronodes for the to just switch out relics, or have a permanent unlock per relic or something. Like, oh, you know what, like this relic costs 2k to switch out every single time. If you pay 100k, you will permanently have unlocked it, and you won't have to pay a fee every time you have to switch it out. Another solution could be if we get a combat relic section and a non-combat relic section. Yet again, put this into a quest, put this into a mystery, a new dig site, whatever. Like, give us a possibility. Like, I don't mind if you need to do something to unlock it, because as I said, these are really powerful. So I wouldn't mind to have a way to unlock it, as long as it's nothing tedious, like, oh, do 100 Castle Wars games to unlock it or something. That makes no sense, but some of them make sense, like a quest or a mystery or whatever. And then have us have combat slots and skilling slots. So, like, the ones that really affect combat, like the Berserker's Fury, Fear of the Small, or Persistent Rage or whatever, those will be added to the combat slot, so you will have those active when you do combat. And then in the passive one, I can have my sticky fingers or my cooking fish when I fish them or whatever. And I think that could really just make that system a lot better, because sometimes I just don't even bother switching out, because I know that, like, on one day I will be collecting God Wars Dungeon 2 rep, I will be doing some PVMing, and I will be doing some clue scrolling. So I'm just like, you know what, clue scrolling is the most important thing. Same with the God Wars Dungeon 2 rep. I'm not even going to use the combat relics, or the other way around. Like, you just get lazy with it, and it's just, it feels really clunky. That's I think the main problem of it. And I think either having a combat and a skilling slot would solve it, or have us permanently unlock a relic at a time, or just have us unlock a feature with like a buttload of chronos, like maybe even 500k, to just have the cost of switching out relics removed. Because I just think it's a bit of a trashy mechanic, because it just makes it so people are just not interacting with the content. Because why would you, if you just want to fish and cook your fish, but you know, you need to pay chronos for it. So you know what, never mind. But anyway, those are my solutions to 3 of RuneScape's biggest problems, in my opinion. As I said, these are always my opinion, but let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys all yet again for all the support in the recent videos. It's been crazy to me, like, I genuinely really do appreciate it. Leave a like if you did enjoy this video, comment, subscribe if you're new. My name is Relics. See you guys in my next video.